Well, this is the time of year where I start going with horses full time. So there'll be horses, we joke about the principal's office, but the principal's office really this time of year, in the middle of the year, is me just trying to help the horses catch up, right? We've already dealt with attitude issues with castrations and splints being cryoed. I'm keeping a close eye on horses that I feel are not doing their best work. We talked about Don't Ask Again and Joe J. Fotag. I put them in a place to do bad work, and they did bad work on Friday, right? They don't train well. And as I say this, I think it's important to say, even as a 5-year-old, if you go out and train 3-Point Blue Chip by himself, the first day we got him back and I trained him at Northfield Park, I thought I'd train him by himself because I'd forgot. I thought maybe he grew out of it. I hadn't really trained him since he was a 2-year-old. I went by the half in 101. We're going a mile on the race bike. He just pulled up down the backstretch, and there's nothing I could do. I just went back to the paddock. Amy goes, "How was he?" I said, "Fantastic." For that first half, he was really, really good. And then, he still does that thing where he doesn't go by himself. There's no point getting angry about it. There's nothing you can do about it. When a 1,000-pound animal decides that that's it for the day, that's it for the day. And what you're left doing now as a 2-year-old, we just always trained. And Melisandre's a terrible trainer by herself also. But I allow it because I saw that a horse that did that in 3-Point Blue Chip still ended up being one of the better 2-year-olds in the country at the time. And an exceptionally talented animal that ended up, fracturing a foot as a 3-year-old. But he still does it to this day. So I would just wanted to see, what are you going to do? Is your attitude still as such that you don't want to train by yourself? The answer was emphatically yes for both of them, which is fine as long as they train better with a group moving forward. So I wanted to take a look at the horse's faults, their weaknesses, see what we can do to improve. Addie Bear, stop. See what we can do to improve those inferiorities, so to speak. Is there anything we can do to help them? How do we put some stronger work into them, and are they paying attention to the work that we're asking them to do? Those are the questions that I'm going to answer this time of year. Now, later on, when you get into May, closer to June, the principal's office, a little different thing. Those are the ones that decided they're not going to do their work right. Maybe there's some problems. Maybe there's some issues. Maybe the horse are getting a little sore, and I want to get a look at them. I want to look under the hood, see what's what. But that's not really what this time of year is about. I don't have any horses that fit that category right now that I had to go with this week. I just wanted to look at everybody that I felt needed looking at. I think I went with 8 on Saturday, maybe 9, and that would really be about it. A number of the horses I wanted to look at today, just off the top of my head, a horse like Simply Chaotic. I thought he trained well the last time I trained him. I would not put him in the category as one of our top 5 trotters overall. When you look at comparing Ontario to Ohio, it's tough. It's a bigger track. They had much more inclement weather in Ontario, missed a couple of days, or even if they didn't miss, weren't able to train very strong. So I have to go into training days like today in Ontario with an open mind. I'll tell you what, they're pretty well on par with what the horses are doing in Ohio. I can tell you that right now. And the horse that probably impressed me, there was 2 or 3 for sure I can think of off the top of my head, horses that thoroughly floored me this week with how good they were. My expectations were set down here, hopeful, optimistic, and by the time I was done training, I was way up and excited. Simply Chaotic was one of those horses. I put him in a place, and you guys might hear me talk with the fillies, and I'm like, well, why would you do that, Anthony? Why would you put the horses in a position to do things wrong? Not putting them in a position to do them wrong. I just want to know what they're doing right. And can they do more? And are they better from the last time? This isn't the first time I did that. Christmas time, February, every so often, I'll go out and train them and just politely ask, how are you feeling? Has your attitude changed? Are you going to work a little bit harder? And I'll continue to also. But Simply Chaotic, I put him in every spot they said he was a little vulnerable over the last 3 months, right? I sat him on the outside the first lap, got him in, moved him to the outside of the quarter simply to tell Danny we're going a little bit fast. Dropped him back in the 2-hole, moved him hard hard to the front, and they said that's where he's most vulnerable, was on the front end. Not today, he wasn't. He was all business today. Nick's horse got up alongside me, and I've only trained with Nick's horse once or twice, but a good looking colt. Really impressive looking colt. I have known nothing about him other than he's dark. That's it. The dark brown horse. I know nothing else about him. You hot, honey? A little bit? You're okay with your coat off, or do you want me to turn the heat down, or? Okay. Maybe I'll just turn the air off. What do you think? Okay. We got to head a lane where if he was tired or if he had a bad attitude, that's when you're going to see it, right? The ones with the cranky attitudes, you really see it when they're tired. Makes sense, right? Maybe you have your own business. The employees that aren't that good, at the end of a long shift is when you really see them at their worst. So I was expecting Simply Chaotic to pin his ears a little bit. Quite the opposite. He was very happy and very comfortable to drive away down the lane. He looked exceptionally good, and I was thoroughly floored by how good that horse looked on Saturday. I did not expect that. 2 other horses fit that category this week. Hanger 1, I wasn't even sure if I would train him Saturday. He'd put the weight back on we were looking to put on, so Carla and Amy and everybody in that shed row did a great job getting that weight back on him. And when I trained him, I went out to train him by himself, just a slow mile. And as it turned out, I was ready to turn to go a mile just as 2 other people were ready to go to turn their mile. Jeff Conger and Tyler. And I had asked Jeff, I said, how much you planned on going? He said 25. Maybe a little more than I wanted to go, but remember, I told you the biggest reason I stopped training him with the sets was I thought 25 to 35, he just wasn't comfortable. I just felt that there was interference in there that frustrated him, and he was really hard to deal with. And when he gets hard to deal with a chain in his mouth, obviously it's going to hurt his mouth. So why don't we just hit the pause button? I galloped him for 2 weeks, and he took the galloping super serious to the point where I actually think he lost a little bit of weight. Just settle down. I turned him to go his mile, and I had absolutely no expectations. I had no idea what was about to happen. He wins the set in 2:20. A little quicker than what even I wanted to go. I thought 25 was a little too much. 20, he did it easy and happy. Tyler said he was making a little noise. That's the biggest problem with Hanger, right? He tucks his head. When he does, he shuts his own air off a little bit. So if you're really hauling on him and he's already got his head tucked, you can hear him making a little bit of a noise. We're going to have to put a choke plate on him, I guess, to force his head just a little bit here. Horses hate it. I hate wearing them. But if it's going to help him at going those slower parts of the mile, and he'll wear it, if he'll wear it, then that would be great. That's what we're going to do. He was, yeah, just come right over in front of me. No, go ahead. Yeah, you're cool. There's 2 lanes. So Hanger 1, he just did it so matter of fact. His hobbles weren't tight. He wore them tight before. I had just had normal shoes on him. Had a half front, half swedge on him behind, full swedge up front. Just everything was just put on him matter of factly. His gear, his shoes, everything. And he was nice and quiet. Yeah, he made a tiny bit of noise coming to the half. I had to kind of seesaw him a little bit in behind Tyler, but that's it. That's just him. He does it. You have to know that. You have to be aware of it. Be ahead of it. But when I moved him over to head a lane, I don't know if those were 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds or what they were. Gone. But not in a crazy way. In a smart, athletic way. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. I was just thoroughly pleased with Hanger 1. Now, I know that Hanger 1 is a really fast horse, so I suspect my level of excitement was just a hair less than Simply Chaotic because I had no idea what he was. I know Hanger 1's a fast horse. I told you, our job is not going to be turning him into a fast horse. Our job is going to be managing his speed and his intelligence. Mentally, he's a little immature. So we're trying to negotiate with him, so to speak. but I was very happy with him and thoroughly pleased with Simply Chaotic. One more horse that really blew me away this week was Royal Flush Dale. I didn't expect him to be that fast. He's actually trained faster than any horse we have. Actually, him and Neuromancer, I think, both went 2:18 on Friday. Those miles are by themselves, by the way. I turned Royal Flush Dale, and he was all business. I thought you said there was a small wait.
It said 15 minutes on my phone. Then again, my phone also brought us to the wrong way.
Maybe just a short, what's it say, lane closed, 2 left lanes closed ahead. All right, so it's going to be a little wait. I don't got a ton of time, but I did make up a lot already. We'll be okay. Oh, and maybe this is an exit lane too, because the left lane's moving pretty good. We'll see in a second. So those 3 horses really blew me away. Royal Flush Dale. Again, I'm going to put Hanger 1 in the 3 spot of those 3, just because I've already known how fast he is. That is no shock at all to me that he's that good. Oh, I see what it is. It's just telling us to get out. It must be an accident up here. That's why it's not showing.
What happened?
They got 2 lanes closed here. I think I see a fire truck. Yeah, it might be an accident here. Might be.
Probably a cause of fire or something.
Could be, yeah. I would say, well, mostly because it's fresh in my mind, but how impressed I was. Simply Chaotic, 2:23 last half. I can't put him in first because the other horse actually went a lot faster and impressed me too. Royal Flush Deal, 2:18 last half in 5. He was super impressive. Simply Chaotic, 2:23 last half in 6. He was extremely impressive. And Hanger 1 is just a freak. He's just fast. 2:20 last half in 7. Last half of 107. Just easy. So those are 3 horses. I'm going to through this list is going to be 10 horses that I see on the improve. 10 horses that impressed myself or somebody else going with them this week. 10 horses we haven't talked about in quite a while. These aren't your Steady Volos and your Perfect Thoughts. These are the other ones. The ones that we thought about, we talked about maybe in Christmas time and first part of January, but that we haven't talked about that much lately. Cherry's Girl was extremely good in her training on Wednesday. I know that Jason Merriman had gone with her a number of times, but hadn't gone with her in a while. And he said to me pulling up, he said, "This filly is really good right now." I said, "I know." I said, "Jason, she made breaks. We got her through the winter. She made breaks. We got the corks off her. Then she popped the quarter crack. It was really hurting her right hind. She was right over on the left shaft. It's now starting not to bother her. It's not that shocking that she's better right now." Diosa Della Danza, I guess I don't need to put her on this list. I've talked about her, how good she was. But when I went with her the other day, we come the last half in like 104 in a piece. She was sensationally good. She just was strong going through the wire. And especially after I just went with Perfect Thought and I know how good she is. I know how good Sweet Lake is. I've seen Millie Girl at work. These 5, at least 5 pacers we have are, again, historically speaking, they feel like sire stake material. 5. And all 5 of those horses were extremely good. Yeah, there's an accident here for sure. I see a car into the guardrail. I know. I'm that guy. I went all the way to the sign almost and then got in front. I know. On the other side, see there's a fire truck here? There's 2 signs and a fire truck, and there's a guy who bumped into the guardrail.
I don't see a guy.
Well, you're going to see a car in a minute, and I guess it's a little presumptuous to assume it was a guy. Somebody hit the guardrail. So Diosa Della...
Oh.
No, it wasn't that bad. He banged into the rail, it looks like. I don't think he
How
was.
are people not looking where they're going?
You think he didn't see that guardrail and he just bumped into it? Most of the time what happens is sometimes they bump out here. They'll hit. Oh, I see what somebody did. It didn't set us back very much, so it really is not going to hurt us very much. Yeah, there. See, there's an accident. Looks like maybe he rear-ended him. He's just pulled over by the guardrail. A Honda and a Kia. Ooh, that guy, he smushed his car.
Told ya.
Told me what, you goof? So Diosa Della Danza,
I told you something was gonna happen.
Diosa Della Danza, we all thought, I mean, certainly she has the pedigree to being an incredibly talented filly, but the days that we see Perfect Thought look good. You guys, I don't know under video if you've seen Diosa Della Danza look the way she did. The one day Jason beat us fair and square with her. She's just a really talented filly, but what I like about her, and again, this is kind of indicative of the Dancing Yankees I saw. She's tough. She just feels tough. And I like her a lot. Hanger One, we talked about him, how much I thought he improved this week, and how much more intelligent he seemed. So that break kind of really helped him in that regard. In New York, we took the hobbles off him. I made a break training the other day, but he's been in 222, and the horse is really coming on. I think he's in this list. Again, these are horses that improve, so I'm not trying to tell you that in New York he's going to ascend the ladder and crack the top 10 list before June. In fact, quite the opposite. I don't think he will. But he could be a useful horse all summer long, and I'll tell you what, he made massive gains over the last 2 weeks in training. Lifting Legend won the last set today, I believe. Now, I was back a little bit with the Cattle Wash Colt, so I couldn't really see who won. We'll all see together when the videos come out. But I believe Lifting Legend might have got there. The horse was just very strong. I don't remember him looking that strong, but the way he did it on the front end in a very surgical way, I was impressed with the way his mental state is going in. And it's so cool to watch the horses improve physically, but you don't always get to see them improve mentally like we do. And his mental game has improved exponentially, and really, really happy with what I've seen from Lifting Legend. Love Sensation, I've told you how good she is. You're about to see how good she is in the next week or so. The next time we do a video, I think you're going to see a much different Love Sensation than you're used to. She looks big and strong and powerful, and she's got that chip on her shoulder. I'd love to see it. She looks really, really good. Rico Tubbs with the hobbles on. I trained him in 219 last half and 6 yesterday. Easy. Very, very easy mile for him. I haven't gone with him in a while. I suspect we're going to get the flip-flops off him soon also. Does he need the hobbles? I don't know if he does or he doesn't. But I wanted them on him yesterday because I wanted to make sure he did his work at his best. And he certainly did that. Royal Flush Deal, we talked about. Simply Chaotic. Both those horses were exceptionally good training. Sitting 1-2, I guess, on my most improved list this week. And then Solidarity for a horse that made tons of breaks. Certainly didn't make any offerings that I heard or saw of today. Danny said the horse has been training fantastic. I've been happy with him. They've been happy with him. This hopefully is a Solidarity we've been waiting for and waiting to see. And it's funny, just such a simple thing. The vet, Dr. Tesla, was not sure that the splint on Solidarity was an issue, but he has not made one break since we cryoed it. So I think in this regard, at least from my standpoint, 1 + 1 = 2. And even if it wasn't the splint, I don't really care. He's not making breaks, and I don't care why. Happy with what I've seen from Solidarity. So there's a different top 10 list for you. 10 horses that I think have made huge gains over the last 2 weeks. Cherry's Girl, Diosa Della Danza, Hanger One in New York, Lifting Legend, Love Sensation, Rico Tubbs, Royal Flushdale, Simply Chaotic, and Solidarity. All horses on that list have been training great the last 2 weeks, and all have been coming forward in big, big ways. So I thought it was important. We all talk about the Queen of the Castle. We talk about the horses that are training good. That top 10 list fluctuates a bit, but it's been the same 10 horses for the most part for the last little while. I wanted to make sure we talked about the guys that are on the move, the ones that are doing it better than they've been doing it, and I think those 10 fit the bill perfectly. So with that, I'm going to get back to your list. We get the race horses, the 3-year-olds, the 2-year-olds. I'm going to talk about all of them on our long drive to Pennsylvania.